think we'll go ahead and get started. I know the comptroller has other obligations this afternoon, so we want to get moving. But I want to thank everybody, obviously, for coming today and to help us basically kind of acknowledge and celebrate what was a very important bill. The governor signed this bill. It's House Bill 699, and it's an income tax subtraction for foster parents for their expenses that are oftentimes not reimbursed. And so I am proud and very pleased that everybody could join me today to be able to really kind of kick this off and get people to know that what happened and started here in Southern Maryland now is going to have a great impact on our children and our families throughout the entire state of Maryland. And with that, I just, you'll have an opportunity to hear from different folks briefly about the part that they played in this. But I just very simply, and a lot of folks don't know this, but this bill does two things. For those folks that are already approved as foster parents, it will help them recover some of the costs that they spend out of pocket to help our children who are just entitled to the very same things that every child is entitled to. And you may not know, but a lot of the expenses that are not oftentimes covered or not fully covered are things just basic, like clothing, over-the-counter medications, field trips, the kinds of things that all kids want. And so, on the one hand, it's wonderful to see everybody coming together on behalf of those children. It's also a bill that we think will encourage those individuals that want to become foster parents to know that there will be some help for them financially. Because as you know, you do get a stipend for taking care of children. It's never enough. It's never enough. You know, the needs grow. So it's twofold. It really does help the children directly, and it certainly encourages others to join along with it. I just want to give you a very brief history on this bill. And to me, it's just an amazing, it should be a case study for all legislation. First of all, it started locally. I met Michelle, who's going to talk briefly for a minute, who's a foster parent, who just made me aware of this. And like good legislation, it starts from the ground up. It doesn't start from the top down, folks. And she made me aware of that. We put in a piece of legislation. As it came back, that went out. It went out to our local Department of Social Service to review. It went out to the Department of Human Resources, and it went out to our comptroller's office. Everybody came on board. Everybody gave us their information about what they thought would be a good bill and what would make it work. This was, and through that, we then came up with what and what happened here is we built a team. We literally built a team around this bill for our children and for our families. And I have to tell you, regardless of how much work was done, and it was all good work, without the comptroller's support on this bill, because he's got a lot of things to do, but it's my understanding, well, I know he collects all our tax money. and he has to hold on to that to pay for all the things. So every legislative session, there are countless bills that want to do tax credits and stuff, and they keep trying to take the money away from him to go other places, but not here. He jumped right on this. His office worked with us, gave us good language to work with, and has supported this bill all the way through. And so we couldn't have done it without his help. We couldn't have done it without our local Department of Social Services that believed in this, got behind it, our Department of Health and Human Services as well. And I want you to know, it doesn't happen often, but the vote on this bill in the House was 131 to nothing, and the Senate was 47 to nothing. It was 100% supported by all the folks that had the opportunity to vote. I mean, that just makes me feel so good that people came and really embraced our children and this program. So I just want to give you that part of the history. And one other piece to this. Because we started it here in Southern Maryland out of Charles County, and because we oftentimes go to the state and ask for their help, we went to the comptroller's office and asked for his support. One of the things we did as this bill was moving through is we brought to Charles County the Generous Juror Program. And very briefly what that program does, it allows citizens to participate and donate part of their stipend to our foster kids. So we were able to say to the state and to the comptroller and all those others, we're doing our part. So not only do you have all of the agencies, foster parents involved, but you have citizens every day going to that courthouse and making the decision to donate their money to go to our children that need it. And so here, it doesn't get better than that. It does not get better than that. And so I want to thank everybody for being here today. I'm delighted that we were able to get this piece of legislation through, but not for a moment think that it didn't happen without this whole team, everybody working together to make it happen. And I'm indebted to you for all of you for that. So with that, I want to thank you again. I'd like to have our comptroller say a few words about the bill. And again, thank you for not only your support, but for being here for this. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Peter. Sorry that he had to tell you I was the tax collector, but I am honored to be here with you. A couple of weeks ago, I was in a big room with a whole bunch of people in Montgomery County. I'd been called to jury duty, and people came up to me and said, "Hey, what are you doing here? How can you be on a jury?" And I said, "Well, I'm a citizen, just like anybody else, civic duty, plus that notice was pretty intimidating that I got." But at the end, they had the generous juror program up in Montgomery County, and we get over $60,000 a year from people saying the $15 stipend or whatever it is that we are owed for jury duty is donated. And I'm delighted because it was described as something that was just for the kids, but I'm going to go back and make sure that it's dedicated to foster kids. And so Peter left out one person to thank for getting this bill through, and that's Delegate Murphy. And I am so proud of his career up in Annapolis. He served for many years on the Ways and Means Committee and is an expert on finance issues and transportation issues, environmental issues, education issues. He's done so much and is so well respected in Annapolis. But getting this bill through unanimously, which in these kind of partisan-filled times is always unusual, is just a testament to his expertise and the fact that he rose to the occasion based on his own experience as a foster parent, listening to what other people had to say and to his constituents, and took not only the values that we share, we're all for the kids. Honestly, we all share the same values. The question is, are some of us able to do something and actually get some improvement? And delighted to be here with the director and her staff, because I know they do. But Delegate Murphy picked up the baton and took it and approached us. We were very supportive, as we always are, when it concerns programs that benefit foster kids. A couple of years ago, we helped the legislator pass a bill that intercepts a tax refund going to somebody that owes money to their kids in payments. In other words, before they get that tax refund, if they owe money to their kids, we divert it over to the kids, and or whoever the guardian is of the kids. But when Peter brought this bill, it's a great bill, a great concept. It is directed towards people who do the work of the Lord, as far as I'm concerned. Foster parents around the state should be given medals and recognized publicly. Michelle, I'm delighted you're here, and foster parent, Michelle, and foster parent of the year. All over the state, there are people that open up their homes for very modest payments, if any, and provide care and dignity, as Peter often comments to me, provides dignity to these kids, times when they are absolutely without shelter. And all I can say is what makes us a great state and what makes this country a great country is that we have, in effect, good-hearted people that are willing to open up their homes to kids that are troubled. was in Allegheny County last year and presented something to the Smith couple, because over 40 years, they're taking in 240 foster kids into their home. And a lot of these were for extended stays. They have 3 kids of their own, they've adopted 6 of them. A couple in their mid-70s. No one had ever thanked them. The commissioners in Allegheny County, the room was filled, and they got a standing applause from the citizens because they know how important it is to the community that foster parents are there and supported. So anyway, the bill has been signed into law. I hope to see it expanded in years to come so that more state money goes to the foster parents. I mean, trust me, we have a wonderful government. I'm not critical of anybody. We waste a lot of money. And the fact that very, very relatively small amounts of money going to foster parents could help them provide safe, stable, nurturing home environments for kids that are, through no fault of their own, thrown to the mercy of individuals. I mean, I just can't believe the generosity of foster parents around the state of Maryland. I mean, these are not, a lot of these kids are not easy kids to, I mean, they're coming from challenged, damaged homes. And they're able to rise to the occasion. The Smiths had a special gift of being able to talk to children. Kids would come in screaming and just, or almost comatose. They were able to talk to them. They had a gift. And over 40 years they employed it. I'm sure people here in Charles County do it. But I believe that foster parents can now, thanks to Delegate Murphy and everyone who spoke for the bill and passed it through, I think foster parents around the state can say, okay, we get it. The state supports us. We're important. Great. This bill is a great pat on the back to foster parents everywhere. I'm so proud of Delegate Murphy for having pushed this through. And thank you for that. A lot of us have traveled around a lot. What makes us special are the people up here, people sitting out there. You know what I'm talking about as far as reaching out and doing the right thing when kids are in trouble. So thank you all very much. Oh, I forgot the clerk of the court's here too. Thank goodness. And I really want to applaud her for her hard work on the generous juror program. I know that that was brought in partly at your behest, and I'm very pleased at that. And Madam Director, again, thank you for your expert staff. I'm delighted to be here.
Thank you, Peter. Sure, do you want to talk just a